What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about XRP today. My camera's lagging a little bit, so don't mind that. You know, everything else should be fine. So whatever. Today, looking at the daily, we are experiencing a 14.7% drop, basically a 15% drop as of now. We do probably go lower from here. After yesterday, after seeing a 73.3% pump, this is normal, man. It shouldn't be unexpected. We were very hot, very overbought in the RSI. This could be a general area where, if you're trying to trade this thing, this might be a good area to kind of like buy and go long. Let's see, actually, if that even holds true. I don't mean buy for the long term. If you're buying for the long term, you might want to wait a little bit more because I do think we go lower. But from that low there to this high there, we're below the 382. I don't know. We got 18 minutes and 55 seconds left in this 4 hour. If we can come up and close above this 382, it might be a good time to like buy a short area for a short-term area for a long, not a short area. But if we close below this 382, I would expect that we're going to see price move rather rapidly down to the 618, which is right around 59.5 cents, if not lower to the 0.69, which is at 56.5 cents. So 56.5 to 59.5 cents, somewhere in between these two lines is where I would expect it to go. Again, if we close below the 382 on a 4 hour, and especially if we close below the 382 on a daily. When I say rapidly, I don't mean that it has to happen like that in an hour, in a minute. It could, but I would more expect, over the coming days, maybe over the weekend, maybe over the coming week, something like that. Generally, whenever you get like a move like this, you get just look at it here, right? Like back here, this wasn't nearly to the same effect of a move, but you moved up really quick and then you moved down. It took you 1, 2, 3, 4 days. You moved up in 1 day, but it took you 4 days to kind of like resolve your low, and then you started moving higher, right? You moved up in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then you moved lower in a longer period of time. So I don't think that this is going to move down just as quickly as it moved up. If it did, that would be scary. That would be scary. That would imply that this move is invalid, which you don't want to see that. If we were by the end of today or even tomorrow to give back like to the 786 or 886 area, something like that, that would be scary, guys. That would not be a good thing. We would probably likely go lower, like to 37 cents to 29 cents, somewhere, if not even lower than that. So you really don't want to see that. What I would like to see for the XRP army is that we bounce or we hold this area. Even, at a very best case scenario, we hold this 382 area. I'm not expecting that at the moment. I do think we go lower. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my overall opinion on it right now. Looking at the 4 hour, let's get into more TA instead of opinions. You didn't have bearish divergence, but you didn't need it to break out of this overbought zone. Look at how high you went, man. You went to 98.5. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous, man. You were almost at 100. This thing only goes to 100. I know it has higher numbers here, but from a mathematical standpoint, from a very realistic standpoint, from a matter of fact standpoint, you cannot break 100 on the RSI. It's impossible. It's a scale between 100 and 0. So the fact that you got close to 100 just shows how hot this move really was. You need to cool off. You're cooling off. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing bad. It's okay. And I want to kind of get to the point of why we might be having such a dramatic drop right now, after this pump. And it's because everybody yesterday was so hyped on this news that XRP won their lawsuit against SEC, and the thing is, everybody's wrong, man. Every single person who has said that, who has believed that, you guys are all wrong. They did not win against the SEC. They won part of their lawsuit against the SEC, which means they were found innocent in part of it, which also means they lost part of it, which means, again, that they were found guilty in part of it. They were found innocent and guilty. I mean, I'm not gonna go over the news. It's not my style, but I've been watching videos on people talking about this, giving their speculative input on it, and I'm kind of disappointed in all the big YouTube accounts that have just read the headlines. They haven't gone into Ivan on Tech. From what I can see, Ivan on Tech, if anyone knows who he is, he's the only person who actually went into detail about what happened. He's the only person that didn't just read the headline. He went into detail and explained that, yes, they did win and yes, they did lose. But the main point, the main reason why we had a pump yesterday overall, they beat the SEC to a certain degree, right? And that's cool. That's bullish. Again, I use my phrase like I did for Vegas. If you go to Vegas and you come out break even, you didn't lose money or make money in Vegas, you won. but you didn't really win, right? You broke even, right? There's a difference between coming home with money and breaking even. And that's basically what happened with the SEC case yesterday. We didn't win, we just didn't lose either, you know. And the SEC didn't lose. Everyone's saying they lost. They didn't lose, but they didn't win either. It was a break even, you know. And the lawsuit itself got settled, which is a bullish thing. We got regulatory framework for crypto. That's a bullish thing, you know, of course, you know, and that's all that hype to be said is why we pumped. But all of the news, man, go through and read the news from yesterday. It might be a different story today, I don't know. But all of it, all the headlines were saying XRP won their SEC battle. They won the SEC lawsuit. They beat the SEC. They didn't. That's misleading. Oh no, the news misled us. Who would have ever thought that, man? The news misled us. Of course they do. They always do. They do that so that it gets people excited to buy up here, and then the big dogs who promote those stories, they sell to you. They sell to you, the person reading it. The guys that make those stories, they sell to you, the reader, and then whenever the price dumps, they buy it back down here. And who's selling it to them down there? Probably the same people that FOMO'd in at the top here. If you bought up here, you don't have the emotional wherewithal to handle this drop, right? You probably don't. And I'm not trying to dog on anybody. What I'm really trying to say is if you did buy up here, you know, you missed your chance to sell, in my opinion, because this thing could just as easily come back up. I doubt that it goes above that high, but you could come back up and then proceed to go lower from there, really, you know, throwing people out of whack. That's totally possible. That's not uncommon. It's even normal. It's to be expected, I would say. But, you know, at the moment, regardless of what it does in the meantime, I do think that we go lower from here, ultimately. And again, man, I'm very disappointed on how a lot of people handled the news yesterday. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, man. A lot of people were talking, you know, a lot of big accounts with like hundreds of thousands, millions, or not, maybe not millions, but hundreds of thousands of subscribers were talking about the same thing that the headline said. They didn't go into the news at all. They just read the headlines, and I'm like, dude. That's exactly what they want you to do. They don't want you to read the story. They just want you to go into the headlines. If you read the story, you would see they did not beat the SEC. They won part of it and they lost part of it. That's not a win. That's a draw. They had a draw. That's the truth. And I think now that the truth, the reality of the situation setting in, we're seeing the pullback, right? We're seeing that, oh, it wasn't, they didn't beat the SEC. They didn't beat them. That's why we're not continuing to go higher. That's why all of crypto is not having a day right now. It's not, the bull market's not on full rally mode. It's because, you know, the media was misleading, and this is becoming more of a video about that, and I'm not trying to make it about that. So I'm going to get off of that. I just, you know, kind of, you know, it's our responsibility as traders, as speculators, as individuals to take whatever information we have and be speculative on it. Be like what's the word I'm looking for? Skeptical. Be skeptical. You know, like see. Like really look into it. Don't base your decisions off of headlines, man. If anybody bought up here, and I'm not trying to dog on you again, any person that bought up here, you need to understand that you're the type of person that reacted on emotion, okay? And it's okay to react on emotion, but it's not okay to not realize that. You need to realize that within yourself. That's the only way that you're going to, you know, the next time something like this happens, you're going to know how to avoid it. But again, anybody that bought up here, you know, I'm sorry for your losses at the moment. Hopefully, you know, if you're selling right here, if you're feeling the FOMO of selling, you're feeling the FUD or whatever, hopefully it doesn't go back up and then make you FOMO into buying again. You get that double buy, double loss kind of scenario. But I think it's too late to sell, in my opinion. I really do think it's too late. If I personally FOMO'd and bought up here, I wouldn't sell it down here. Because again, it really could come back up here. And what I would do at that point is, if it did come back up here, that's where I would sell. I would sell it once it came back up here. And I know what this looks like, guys. I know what it looks like. It looks like two circles and a triangle with the circle down below it. It's like a face with a nose. I know exactly what it looks like. Don't even try me. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is I do think we go lower. I don't think this is the low for the current time being. This could be a good area to go long. It's totally possible. Let's actually look on the 1 hour and see. We are potentially, you know, there's 10 minutes left in this 1 hour. We might be bouncing off the oversold area. That's a very good area to bounce off of, you know, to see some kind of bounce in the price action. We might go back up to this previous like low area here, find resistance, and then proceed to go lower. So this is back to the point of why I wouldn't sell down here just yet. I know it looks scary. I know it feels scary, but you got to put your emotions in check. You know, you really have to. And this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion, you know, based on my own experience with this stuff. But But ultimately, looking at it on the weekly, we have a very big wick presenting itself. We are on the weekly long-term RSI, we are above the 50, which is good, and we are above the purple line, which is to be expected. That kind of goes hand in hand. We could go back below the purple line. It's totally possible. We broke out of this range. We had like a top here, right? A topping range. We broke straight out of it. Could we come back down and test it as support and then go higher? Definitely we could. That's normal behavior, guys. And then besides the fact that that's normal behavior, you take the fib from this, I would maybe from this low to this high. The 618 is right there at this topping area too, right around 56 cents. So that to me makes sense. If we were to take, I don't know, this might be a better fib to take it off of. I don't know. Let's see. We could go to the 0.5 around 52 cents. I don't know. With this, we could even go lower than 50 cents, which I know I said that I didn't think that we'd go lower than 50 cents, but we could. We really could. If you look back in XRP's history, oops. You look back in XRP's history, anytime that we've had these really big wicking candles, that's marked a relative top, and we've gone down from there. And sometimes, most of the time we have higher lows, whatever, but sometimes, here, coming into it, this was in the bull rally, right? We had our low here, and we just went up from here. Here, we zoom in, we have a very big wick with a very big candle right here. We actually had a lower low than where we previously broke out from. Could we do that now? Could we go lower than this area at 46 cents? Absolutely. That's totally possible. I don't expect that to happen personally. I really don't expect that to happen, but it can happen. Why can it happen? It's done it before. If it's done it before, it can do it again. I'm just saying. And with that, guys, we do on a weekly basis have a bounce off of the 50 on the RSI, a double bounce, which is nice to see. You are in this overall kind of bullish upward structure, right? You can see these lower or higher lows going with these higher highs, but you're at the top of this range. What's that mean? That means if you're at the top of it, you're probably going to go down. You're probably that's it. You'd really not want to see us break out of this range to the downside. If we do that, that would be really bad. We don't even have to go all the way to the bottom of this range. We don't have to. We could turn around halfway through it or at any point in time. But we are in this overall positive momentum in the RSI. I do expect that we aren't done yet, that we do go higher. But at the moment, before we break this high, I would expect that we break this current low of this day. We probably do go lower. And again, testing previous areas of resistance like we were down here, this area, that's just normal. That's very normal behavior, guys. I'm sorry if I went off a little bit earlier, man. I feel like I might have been a little bit excited, but I got all worked up about the news thing, man. I really did, because I feel like a lot of people misinterpreted what happened yesterday. And I mean, it is good. I think overall it is good news. But if you're saying that the SEC lost and that XRP won, you're lying. You're not informed. You don't know. You didn't read the story. You just read the headlines. You know what I mean? And that's what irks me. That's why I got so like I don't know, emotional a second ago, is because that's exactly what they want you to do, man. When I say they, I mean the people making those stories. They want you to just read the headlines. They don't want you to look into the story. They don't want you to fully understand the situation. They want you to understand what they give you, and then what they give you, they do that so that they can play off of your emotions. And ultimately, guys, I guess I'm kind of done with my little spiel here. I do think I've said enough. I would expect that we would go at least around 60 cents, if not somewhere around 50 cents, somewhere between 60 and 50 cents, somewhere in that area, and with the potential still to go lower than that. But I would first more so think that we would go between 50 and 60 cents at the moment. It's very common. This does not mean that XRP is dead. It's far from dead, you guys. This is just the beginning. But here you went. Let's measure it right here from low to high. You went up. You had a 382 retracement. You actually went below it, which from the current price, 382 retracement and going slightly below would put you below 60 cents. Okay, from the next low to the next high, you had a 618 retracement. That would put you below 50 cents at the current price. Okay, if we went from this low here to this high here, you almost had a 1272 extension. You went below the 100 even. You had a lower low. This thing And all of these moves happened again around the beginning of the bull market, where the low, the end of the bear market happened, which we are right now. We are in that, right? The low, I guess the low happened way back here, but you had like a double bottom. I would say this more so was like the end of the bear market. This is the beginning of the bull. We're in the beginning of it right now, guys. The first time that we broke, last time, whenever we broke above this purple line, we actually went down below it pretty sizably, right? We had a very sizable dump. The last time that we broke above the purple line, from there, we had an 80% dump. If we were to do that from here, if we were to have an 80% dump, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna do that. But you know, we could have even half of that, even a 40% dump would bring us to a price that's like, again, right between 50 and 60 cents. So I'm just saying it's not the end of the world. Don't be scared about this. Don't let your emotions take over. This is normal behavior for this chart, for this asset. This is just what it does. XRP, like a lot of cryptos, is a pump and dump coin. It really is. And overall, you know, I do think XRP is going to go higher. I do think that this all-time high here at about $3.50 is going to be taken out. XRP has a bright future. I see it, man. I know that it does. But I guess I think that it does. Nobody knows, right? But if we're taking this overall fib, I wonder, let's see. We tipped, I forgot about this, man. We literally tipped the 618. From high to low here, we literally tipped the 618. We rejected it. It's very common when you get that kind of rejection to find support at the 382, which this one is at 60 cents, or even more so the 236. We could even go down to the 0.69 from here. But, you know, ultimately, what you do with these kind of structures is you go up just like we did here, right? We go up to the 382, come back down, find support on the 0.069. You went up to the 382, found support on the 236. You went up to the 618, maybe you find support on the 382 this time. You can wick below it just like you wicked below the 236 here. You could wick below it, and again, that would put us below 60 cents. But then from there, I would expect that we probably do break this 618. We probably do break this high that we had. And if we don't, maybe we find support on the 0.5, and then we go higher from there. You know, ultimately, I do think XRP goes higher. I think it has a bright future. But don't be emotional. Don't be so surprised that we are having a negative 14% day right now, and it's actually going up. You know, back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video. This might be a good time to go long. Looking at the fact that, I mean, we've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left, and we might be bouncing off the overbought or oversold zone like this. It's not uncommon to see a move that goes back up to the 50. This would actually be probably a nice little move. Let's see how much of a move that would be potentially. From the current price, not from the low, but from the current price, you could see 10% of a move from here. So if you were to go long on a 5x leverage, you could snag 50% gains, or maybe it doesn't even do that. Maybe it does half of that. If you're doing 5x, you could still snag a 25% gain from this. You know, it's definitely tradable. Whenever you get these big breakout moves, this is the time where like traders come in, you know. But again, ultimately, I do think that we go lower. I do think we go lower from here. Before we break this high, I bet we break this low, you know. And on a 1 hour basis, the purple line's way down here. It wouldn't surprise me if we actually came back down to around this purple line. I wonder on the 4 hour, I mean, we could go that low, but I don't know. You know, as time goes on, this line's going to come up too. So, you know, but I do think that we go to somewhere in those areas, somewhere again where I'm thinking is between 60 and 50 cents. You know, maybe we go below 50 cents, but at the moment I'm more inclined to believe that we go in between 50 and 60 cents. So I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like I've gone in circles a little bit. So with that, I'm gonna leave it off. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.